Hello and welcome to Kev's English Podcast, Real English every week with your host Kev Dean.
So, welcome to my special guest today, Mr. Payman, live from Iran, or Mullah land, as it's sometimes called. If you don't know Payman, he's responsible for IELTS9.PRO.
Yeah, I'm the guy behind IELTS9.PRO.
Yeah, so we sometimes work together doing different things for IELTS, writing, etc. But what we're going to talk about today is this artificial intelligence caper. Because we've seen this, we keep seeing it. Lots of right. So I can tell when somebody is sending me artificial intelligence writing because it's perfect. There's no grammar, and they say, "Oh, can you have a look at this essay, Kev?" And I say, "Well, what's the point? Because you didn't write it." It's like a chat a GPT, and I can always tell because there's, it's got a certain style. But what do you think about this artificial intelligence thing? Because lots of my students on italki, link below, use it for speaking practice. Now, I don't know what you think about that. I was taking a look yesterday, and there's all these sites as like SpeakPal, Small Talk to Me, Elsa AI, Promoter, Perplexed. It seems to be quite a lot of it.
Yeah, today we are talking about AI, mainly in speaking, as you had a chat with one of your students who was asking about, AI for practicing speaking. But I think it's a bit too soon to go into this discussion right now. Let's see how we learned or acquired on your side English language. I remember back in 2000, we didn't have AI, or I didn't have AI, let's say, to help me learn languages. Instead, we relied on traditional methods like school teachers, textbooks, or whatever, audio recordings we could find. I remember spending hours extracting idioms from an English textbook, underlining them and carefully writing them down in a notebook. It was time consuming, but necessary because access to quality learning resources was limited. And the biggest challenge back then was the lack of real conversation partners. We couldn't just practice English anytime we wanted. Talking to teachers outside class wasn't always an option, and classmates weren't necessarily fluent enough to provide meaningful practice. And that meant most of our speaking skills were developed through released dialogues rather than natural, conversations. You know what I mean? So fast forward to today, and AI has completely changed the game. Every day, a new AI tool is introduced that promises to make language learning more effective and accessible. But while AI can be a fantastic resource, it's important to recognize its strengths and weaknesses. So now we've got the rise of AI in language learning. Every day, students keep sending messages. How can I use this? How can I use it for my, English speaking or for my writing? The AI gave me 6 out of 9 for my writing. Is it accurate or not? How should I trust it or not? Is it reliable or not? So these are the questions that are arising these days. We are here to maybe somehow solve these problems or answer these questions. Now we've got the rise of AI in language learning. AI-powered tools have made language learning easier in many ways. With just a smartphone, learners can now have AI-powered conversations like, ChatGPT is the most famous or popular one, and Pi AI, which allow learners to practice speaking in a judgment-free environment. So don't need to be shy.
I was talking to, actually tried ChatGPT for speaking yesterday, and it had a English accent. I said, "Oh, can we have a chat?" I said, "Yeah, yeah," and it sounded like an English kind of guy. It was interesting, but what? So
Yeah.
right, what you said before
There are
about,
some issues.
well, no, going back to what you just said about for writing. There's a couple of there's one IELTS AI, can't remember the name. I sent you it, and I think that is pretty good. That, you know, but again, what can the student or learner actually learn if they're using this perfection-based model when they need to be developing their own structure and strategy? So you can use it to maybe check your own essay, but some of these have tools that will improve the naturalness and they'll make it, you know, like a better essay. So I suppose they can be useful, but a lot of the AI sites don't understand the criteria for the different tests, like IELTS or TOEFL or OET, IELTS as we kind of do. So I don't know, but for speaking section, it's one of the advantages, especially I think for ChatGPT, is it is free. I was having a search and I found all these different sites. Most of them you have to pay, but still it's probably cheaper than going on to a site like iTalki or Verbling or whoever and paying for tutors. But the other thing is that, you know, they don't always correct you, and there's limits to the conversations. I tried it on, so I'm talking, and he said, well, he said, let's talk about the hobbies. And I said, oh, okay. So he said, so tell me, what are your hobbies? And I said, watching hardcore pornography and taking drugs. And he said, oh, I can't. I'm in this female voice said, bah, 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 bah. We can't talk about this topic. So, okay. So
It's just like the new AI tool that China has recently developed, DeepSeek.
DeepSeek,
You know?
I was looking at that. Yeah.
You just ask, is Taiwan a country? Then it won't answer that question.
Is Tibet a separate autonomous region? You know, can you tell me what happened in Tiananmen Square in 1989? Won't talk about that either. Yeah.
All sense. We can consider them the problems that students, you know, you can easily talk with native speakers or your real English speaking partners. You can talk all about these issues or things or all kinds of stuff. But an AI just modifies or censors what you're going to say. You know, those.
It automatically has some kind of a bias.
Yeah.
A lot of the developers in America are lefties, these lefty liberal cunts, and they proved this, right? So I asked it about, can you tell me about Trump and Biden and Obama? And Obama, but Biden were virtually fucking saints, and Trump, you know, evil, Hitler. So those and inherent lefty bias in, you know, early aspects of artificial intelligence. But you know what you said about native speakers, right? So I have asked Kev every Sunday morning. Nobody comes. Or one person comes or two person comes. I say, Kev, you know, say, right, are there any native speakers? Because, you know, there's like, what, 23,000 people in the group on Telegram, yeah? 23,000 members, you know. And we say, oh, we want natives. We want to talk to natives, those dirty native bastards. We want to talk to them. So I say, well, there's you know, there's one dirty native bastard here. Come and have a chat, and I get 1 or 2 people out of 23,000.
Yeah.
It just can't be asked.
Some are maybe working, or some are at work at that time, or maybe they are. But I put it like this way, that they might be shy. This shyness really hinders their speaking and skill. And also, if you want to be fluent, you don't need to be shy, because nobody is going to judge you. It's a judgment-free environment when you speak with a native speaker.
Well, I don't say anything. I don't. You know, I don't say. I don't correct them or laugh at them. I don't say,
Right.
ha, 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 your English is some shit, because I couldn't do the same in Farsi. So I'm not going to say, you know, oh, I'm not going to talk to you. Your English is a bit shit. I don't make any kind of judgments. It's just a bit of practice. Yeah.
So they are looking for AIs or AI websites or AI applications to improve their speaking skill. But like the one that I tried last night, it said it was Pi application, and I said something and said the Pi said Pi is thinking. It took a lot of time. I think about 5 minutes still thinking, but I just think it's because of the internet connectivity or because of my location in Iran. So there are some challenges, and it may lead to frustration for a language learner, that just you know, trying to install, saying something and expecting an immediate answer. These are things that may fail the user or the speaker. So when it comes to AI power tools, a common problem that many students experience is unreliable internet connectivity, especially if you live in Iran. So AI requires a stable connection to function, let's say, properly, and when that connection is weak, it can lead to frustrating delays. Just like I said, I was trying to use Pi AI practice speaking the other day, and because of a slow connection, I think it was because of a slow connection, it kept saying Pi is thinking. I found myself staring at the phone screen, waiting for a response that never came. And at that time, I might as well have been practicing offline. So this is a major downside of relying too much on AI, because when the technology fails, learners are left without a backup plan. Also, one thing that I realized last night, it can be one of the downsides of AI, practicing English with AI, is the distractions, and distractions from the phone. If you're using the phone, just a message pops up, bing, bing, you got a new message, and then you forget about your speaking practice and you continue browsing the websites, or maybe scrolling up and down on your Instagram page, or watching loads of reels on Instagram, and then you forgot and you end up with saying, oh, I was going to practice speaking. Why am I here? Why am I reading this or watching this video?
This distraction issue, obviously, it happens quite a lot. People. I had a couple of students last week. There was who was it? A Russian lady, and there was someone else. I don't know if it was a Turkish girl. Anyway, I had a couple of them, and when she was saying, I've been practicing, I've been learning English for all these kind of years, and I asked her some questions, and the problem was she was not consistent. Mm-hmm. She was constant, she didn't have a schedule. She didn't have a plan. She'd come on for a bit, then she'd get distracted. She'd go off and do some other stuff, or so it's like an issue of consistency, not avoiding distraction and being consistent and regular, having the same you know, the same times, the same days of a week. I find that can help, because if you do it ad hoc, say, all right, I've got half an hour spare, let's have a bit of speaking kind of practice, and you go on, and then something happens and comes up, and it's, oh, you know, I can come back and do it later. Well, I suppose you can, but I still think having a schedule is more effective, and it can get you out of that distraction kind of trap. Say, right, I've got this time for this, I'll do this. It's only for half an hour, and then you can go back and check your feed or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So in addition to the distractions that you described very well, is the background noise. Last night I was trying to practice with Pi. Suddenly my little one, Helen, just opened the door and came in. Hi, Daddy, what are you doing like this, blah, blah. And then the AI just got confused. She didn't know if it is me talking or another person. She just delayed the response coming from her. So if you're trying to use an AI assistant in a noisy setting, it might misunderstand your words or take longer to process responses. So from my perspective, the main cause of this issue is that AI is designed for controlled interactions, you know, not for chaotic real-world conversations. This is where human communication skills become essential. Unlike AI, real people can just, you know, they can adjust their listening skills, ask for clarification, and adapt to different speaking styles. This can happen in real, you know, environment, in real conversational environment. But for AI, you need to make sure that all the windows and doors are shut and there's no other voice. Just keep. This never happens, or almost never happens, in real life speaking environment. But one higher level to this this kind of conversation might be online speaking sessions with native speakers, or you've sent them a link, or no, that was a Word file containing language exchange websites.
Yeah.
They can use these websites, and the one that I had, let me see, I've got it here. It's called freefortalk.com.
I recommend that one.
Websites. That's really an amazing website. You can, you know, it works on Google Hangouts, as you mentioned here. Yeah. So, yeah.
Just in case people don't actually kind of know, it is spelled FREE 4, as in number 4 talk.com. So, you can check it out.
It can be a solution. It can be kind of solution to this. If you've got,
I recommended it. The main reason is because there's always somebody there, because it's world kind of wide. So, like on iTalki, say, you have to contact on any site, you've got to contact the teacher, you've got to schedule it, etc. But Free for Talk, because it's worldwide, there's always somebody there. I mean, I tried it out when I first saw it. I was talking to guys in Guatemala, you know, someone in Bhutan, in Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, all these places I've never, you know. So there's always somebody there.
Yeah. And it's not only English, it's also Spanish, French, Arabic, lots of languages there. If you want to learn language with real people or native people, well, they can use this freefortalk.com. We are not sponsoring these websites. We're just giving some ideas how to improve their speaking skills.
There's a few other sites, weren't there? There was Hello Talk, or something. There's like a few. There's like 5 or 6 different like sites. I think, yeah.
You've got Tandem.
Hello Talk and something, or
Hello.
Speaky.
Yeah.
One called Speaky. I think Speaky. I think Hello Talk, free for talk. That's the one that we recommend. But don't forget though, on some of those sites they do have like a vetting process to make sure that no internet ne'er-do-wells will come and be speaking. But don't forget, on free for talk, you can be talking to anybody. So keep that in mind. The internet is the internet.
Yeah.
You should know what we are talking about. You know, hello, Mr. Complete Stranger on the internet. How are you today? Oh, would you like to see my cock? You've got to be careful. The internet's the internet. I'm just saying. I've heard some of my female students, some of my female Chinese students. I don't know why, but some guys from certain countries like young Chinese girls. So I tell them, don't put your own picture on as a profile. Don't say, hello, I'm only 16. Don't put any of this shit on, because if you do, you might get onto some topics you don't want to talk about. I'm just saying, doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Actually, I don't get those kind of calls. That's somewhat disappointing. But anyway, though somebody did add me yesterday on Telegram, and it was so the pictures was a young girl, a Chinese girl, and she said, "Oh, hello, looking Mike. You left your phone around at my place," and I thought, okay. So I says, "Oh, hello, yeah." So I played along to see where it was going. And then she sent me a fucking picture. She says, "Oh, I'm 33, I'm single, these are my tits." I says, "Yeah, okay, I can see where this conversation is going." So I've blocked it. Kind of, but you got to be careful, because I've seen some of those things, right? And it's like, happens a lot in China. They have that software that makes them look like a girl. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
You've seen those? So it's like, it's guys, and they've got that light thing, like like a circle thing, and they've got some like special software, so it makes them look like a girl. So they're contacting people. "Oh, hello, my name's Kev. I'm 18. Oh," and it's a guy, really. So you're writing stuff. Oh, you think it's a girl, and it's some fucking bloke trying to.
What they're trying to do is just getting some money in a legal way. Well, they just don't waste their time just talking to you or practicing with you. No, at the end of the day, they want to steal or scam and get all your money in your account. That's what I think they are trying to do. And also, you mentioned, I remember you were active in internations.org website.
Yeah.
This was about meeting in person.
We've got several meetings face to face. So it's internations.org, and then I've got a group called Bratislava International Friends that meets every Friday in English, So there's Internations, International Friends. There's other conversation groups in town. So if you live like in, I don't know if that's the case now in Tehran. I know in the past you used to have these kind of face-to-face groups.
We've got it now. The face-to-face speaking groups. It actually happens in cafes now. Now I've seen some groups, Telegram groups, that they are inviting people. They need to enroll and in the waiting list, and then they are managing those groups, organizing them into different groups, and then they set the times. For example, this group from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At this cafe. So on, for example, Monday or Tuesday, we're gonna meet and talk about, for example, food. So they set the topics, and then everyone, I think, they go Dutch and they share the prices evenly among themselves for the cafe or coffee or anything else. And also for the tutors over there, they share the prices evenly, and it costs, I think, a little money. So it's not going to cost as high as paying for a real teacher in person.
Sounds
so
good. Sounds good,
yeah. I've seen also in shopping malls, when I was just wandering or walking in the shopping mall, I could see some people speaking English in a group together, sitting at a table. So I realized that there might be students with a teacher practicing their English. So we've got these things happening.
We used to have those in China, yeah? We used to call them English corner.
English corner. Mm.
Yeah. So it's like same thing. So they would go to a particular location, a college or school, like whatever, and there'd be,
I know the Beijing website.
People speaking.
The Beijing website. The Beijing ER.
Yeah. No,
So I see some people requesting,
I used to advertise
exchanges
on that site. I used to use it. Yeah, I used to advertise on it. So this is like a long time ago now. This was like what, 15 years now? Is it? Bloody hell. No. 15 years, but 14 years. Oh, yeah. I used to use it. And there's lots of people used to be asking this, any natives on the talk or whatever. So it was quite interesting, yeah. So
now we talked about, I think, different websites that, so I think websites, online, I mean, communication with real people is much more valuable, efficient than practicing with AIs. So, however, AI can be efficiently or can be effectively used for language learning, despite the challenges that we discussed, like noisy environment or disconnections or slow internet connection.
I strongly think that you can use AI, it. I mean, yeah, it's just like a tool, isn't it? It's just a tool. Yeah. I would recommend speaking to a native, to an actual teacher, because they can correct you and give you some stuff. But one of the reasons why I think people in some parts of the world use it is because of cost. They can't afford to actually pay for teachers. I used to have quite a lot of students in Turkey until the economy and currency went downhill. Well, they had like 100% inflation, so they can't afford it because of exchange rates. Like the same
financial
with
crisis, economic going downward, almost in every country.
Well, yeah, it's like same in Ukraine. I don't have any Ukrainian students living there because the hryvnia, because they don't really have a functioning economy now for obvious reasons. So, purchasing kind of power, Iran, the same. I used to have, this was like years ago, I used to have lots of Iranian students. Yeah. This was obviously pre-sanctions, but I used to have some. But because of sanctions and currency fluctuations, not the case anymore.
Yeah, but they should be joining our free sessions in our group, Telegram group. We've got the free sessions.
I keep saying, come Sunday morning. Well, no, some people do kind of come. They stay for a minute and they don't actually speak, and then they kind of go.
Yeah, they just come.
Strange. What do they?
They are expecting something else, and they see that their expectations weren't meant. So they just.
I don't know quite what they.
I was expecting something else.
What do they expect? I'm going to sing them a song, you know, do a fucking dance. Welcome to English. Well, of course I'm not. It's just, if you want to talk, come on, fucking talk. I'm not giving a lecture, you know. And for my lecture on today's Telegram, I'm going to talk about blah, blah, blah. You can go onto YouTube if you want a lecture.
Yeah.
If you want to talk, come and open your mouth. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I'm in lots of Telegram groups. I read lots of questions from these users, and it's all about which AI can I use, where can I learn English, how can I learn English, how can I improve my writing, how can I improve my speaking. It's all about, and then the responses that I see from the other guys, it's all about using AI. You can use this, for example, Pi website or application to improve your speaking. You can use Elsa, you can use ChatGPT to correct your writing. But I think we should be, or they should be cautious here, because we've got the problem of over-reliance. A lot of students who practice solely with AI feel unprepared when talking to a real person.
Yeah.
Take the case of a student who used AI chatbots every day, but found himself struggling in a face-to-face conversation. They often felt overwhelmed by unfamiliar expressions the AI didn't prepare them for, or fast-paced natural speech that AI interactions don't always replicate, or maybe the pressure of real-time responses, since AI conversations can feel more relaxed than real ones. So this is why I believe real human interaction is key, and in any language learning strategy, it's really important and should be considered. So AI can help us build confidence, but it might be fake confidence, but it can't fully, replicate the nuances of live conversations that we have. Yeah, I think that they shouldn't really be over reliant on AIs, and because when imagine they've got the IELTS exam, so the interviewer over there is not an AI, it's just a real person. You need to show your real interaction with that real person. So he's not gonna talk in a robotic way, and he's not gonna say, wow, that's a good point, okay, let's talk about this. No, just going to score you according to real language skills that you use. And it shouldn't be robotic, it shouldn't be monotonous, or it shouldn't, you need to use your, up and down in intonation, and to show that, to be as real as it gets, or as real as possible. So now we can talk about I think it should be almost, we are at the end of our podcast, but we can talk about the future of AI or language learning.
Well, I think we might have to save that for our next episode, because I've got my classes will be starting in a little while, and I have to go and get ready for those. Anyway, so thanks for today.
Thank you.
Very interesting, Payman. We'll continue this, and whichever platform you're listening to or watching this on, if you've got any questions or if you have any suggestions for topics, you can contact me or Payman on the links, whichever site. All right, so you can contact us. If you've got any particular questions, or if you want us, like I say, to cover a particular topic, feel free to contact us or put in the comments whichever site you find us on, and we'll see what we can do. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right then, Payman. Thanks for that. I'll see you. I'll see you soon. And to watchers and listeners, thanks for coming. I hope it wasn't too real for you. But don't forget, it's as real as it gets. As real as it gets here, son. You're not going to get any fake, hello, I am a teacher, this is my teachery voice. You're not going to be getting that here, son. Sorry. This is about as real as it gets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kevin, for inviting me, for having me here on this live interview.
Anytime. All right. So we'll see you next time. Okay.
See you.